Alright, so which one is it? Is it a walking iris? Is it a gladiola? Hey everyone, it's Akila. Welcome back to my channel. Today you are coming along with me and you're gonna help me figure out what type of plant I have here. It's either between walking iris or gladiola. So we're gonna speak about how I care for this plant, the different things that I do, and I would have been reading up on both walking irises and gladiolas to see if I would have been treating this plant correctly. And we're going to speak a little bit about both of them, see their differences, see their similarities, and you'll get to see why it is I'm having such a hard time figuring out what's the true name of this plant. But my money is on the walking iris, but at the end of this video we'll decide together, right? So let's go. Alright, now walking irises and gladiolas, they have some similarities. Walking irises and gladiolas are both from the same family actually, but they have different care methods apparently. Walking irises, also known as the Neomarica Gracilis, also has a number of different names, and these names are called the fan iris because of the appearance of the sword-shaped leaves, which forms a type of fan. It is also known as the apostle plant, a name given to it because some believe the plant needs 12 leaves before it blooms. Another name is the poor man's orchid. But why is it a poor man's orchid though? Right, so the plant, we know it as the walking iris because of the way it propagates. The new plantlets takes root, and eventually the new plant will repeat the same process where it grows, flowers, and the new suckling or seedling or however you want to call it would bend to the ground, form another plant, and it goes on and on again. Because I can't say where this plant falls, I'll just speak about how I care for it. Now, I strongly believe that this plant here is a walking iris just because looking at the different flower types, I think that we more have walking irises within my country. I've never really seen a gladiola flower here within my country, so I'm definitely thinking that it's a walking iris. So I got this plant as a little seedling, and the person who gave it to me, they themselves didn't know the actual name of it, so came nameless. So both gladiolas and irises have this type of sword-like spikes that you would see here, right? The leaves are long and they come out just like this, but their flowers are different, and this is where you are much more able to identify these two different types of plants. Now there are different types of flowers in the walking irises and they go by different names as well, and you are able to identify them by their flower. Now I've never seen this one flower, so it's hard to see where this falls right now. Now let's see. Gladiolas, from what I've read, require full sunlight depending on where it's situated. Irises, they require full sunlight to partial shade, and it all depends on where the plant is situated. I would have used a potting mix when I transplanted this plant into this pot, and I've probably fertilized this plant once since I would have received it. Because I didn't know the type of plant that I was dealing with, I basically had this plant in different areas. So at one point I would have had it in the sun, then the next point I would have put it in the shade. And if it is, you can look at the long kind of elongated stemmy area, you could see that, well, I believe that this type of elongated stemmy part of the plant is actually from keeping it in the shade, because both of the plants require an adequate amount of sunlight, and I would have moved this plant in the shade after some time just because I didn't know how to treat with it, right? I would definitely be moving this plant back to a place where it would receive much brighter light, and so that it would be able to get the light that it requires, right? In our country right now, we are in the rainy season, so I do not water this plant regularly just because it's when it rains it pours. So it gets a deep watering. So I allow the soil to dry out. In between, you could do a soil check to see if it is your plant needs water, but right now I don't water this plant often. If we were in the drier seasons where the sun is just taking up all our moisture greatly on a daily basis, then I would have watered this plant twice a week, just because it is in a container and it's not planted into the ground where the roots would be able to spread and get nutrients and water. Alright, so which one is it? Is it a walking iris? Is it a gladiola?